familiar sight of like, oh, we're just gonna go buy so much mulch right now.
Yep.
Ouch, my
In
legs
that
and my back.
in that truck, it was 30 bags of mulch and 4 bags of soil,
Oh,
Wow, it's
jeez.
a lot.
and I still have to go back and get 36 more bags of
Goodness.
mulch.
I'm currently at the point where there is a debate going on whether we pick up or have delivered 120 concrete blocks.
Oh boy.
You just have the Kia Soul. That's it for
And
hauling.
there's an SUV as well.
Is it a mid-size SUV like a Tahoe or a smaller one?
It's a decent sized one. It could probably fit them in there. It would drag ass, but
Well,
it could
I was gonna say you'd probably
seats
do
down.
like 2 or 3 trips with that. Then
Yeah.
your
seat down.
Soul would probably be like
They're
closer
not-
to 5 to 6.
It's not the full size slabs. It's the small angled arched ones.
Oh,
They're the ones
okay.
you can one hand. But that's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, that's a lot of trips.
Look up your door jamb, your driver's side. It'll have your at least on most vehicles, it'll have your maximum capacity for the vehicle,
Oh, yeah.
including
That's true.
passengers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It'll
that's
also tell you
something-
your tire
something
pressure
lucky.
that you should be at that you probably aren't at. So
Oh, I'm never at that, dude. The temperature fluctuates so much in this town that my tires are exploding one day and flat the next. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Dude,
fucking ridiculous.
I have to have a slow leak on my front passenger one because I'll fill that thing up and then like a week later it's already back down to like 26.
Oh
It's
jeez.
like, come on.
Yeah, I always know when the temperature shifts around here because I get the tire pressure indicator
Yeah,
light
okay,
on my
yeah.
dashboard,
Yeah.
and it's just like, really?
Really
What
nice.
happened through the course of the night that's going to cause me this many problems?
That's right. All right. You guys ready to kick this thing off?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Also, I like the fact that 2 people are wearing rainbows. Boston, where's your rainbow? Pride
Oh,
Month
mine is just
also-
a
It-
black wool shirt.
Eee.
That's right.
Like, Pride is almost among us. Like, what are
That's
you
right.
doing?
Do I need rainbow stuff around here? Probably. Somewhere. Yeah, I don't know. Somewhere around
I'm very disappointed.
here, you know.
I mean,
I'll
eventually all
strive to do
colors
better.
will make one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
All
have to
right.
get my rainbow shit out specifically for the next 2 weeks
That's right. All right. Let's
for
get
the
started
show, for the record.
in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonbeer.
Hi, I think 6 and 2. Let's go.
Sure. And the Nimp.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones on the numbers, and my thing was a reference to the recordings, Boston.
Yeah, the last couple of days we're packing in the recordings because I'm going on a 2-week vacation, and as such, we're gonna do some mailbags while we're gone. If you're a patron, won't be any Outcasts, which is our exclusive, uncensored peek behind the curtain, what's going on in our lives. We also do weekly We Roguelike It. That's going to take a 2-week break as well. That's where Moon and I are playing through seemingly every roguelike on the planet. This one went by super fast. So play this one along with us. This one's great. We're playing Loop Hero right now. Also have exclusive access to Wayward Sons, which is the Supernatural
Yep.
TV show Watchcast with Moon and Nimp. They're getting season 1 is well underway, so you can get all of that over there. That's exclusive at the $5 or higher tier. Tell your rich friends. And you get early access to Critical Misses. Sure, Moon and I are going through all the hits we missed. We're going through all that stuff. And in between seasons, Moon and I do a production meeting. This is probably one of the most... We're definitely doing this season and then turn. Oh, we're actually doing this at the end. So season 21 is good.
In our defense, this one is not due to anything in particular. This is circumstances beyond our control, we'll say.
Time-related circumstances, so...
Yes.
That's what gets us all. So all of that and more over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Ones are numbers.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Nothing, honestly, because, well, actually, let me correct that. I have been playing one game more than others.
Okay.
which is to say that don't forget that this week we get our Game Club episode for the month, which we
Oh, that's right.
recorded late.
It's out right now.
And
if you're listening
yep,
to this
it should-
audio version. Yeah.
exactly. So that should already be in your feed, and next month's will be delayed too. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
So episode out right now is for Ghostwire Tokyo. We recorded that. That is a spoiler cast as well, so keep that in mind. And then the next one is Werewolf Tears. Let me look it up.
Werewolf Apocalypse: Tears of the Coteries of New York.
Yep, perfect. You got it.
It's Werewolf Apocalypse. I know
Werewolf
that much.
the Apocalypse: Heart of the Forest. There it is.
There we go.
One of those combinations of words. So that'll be, and Moon's right, that will be a week late as well, because I'm out of town. So you have a whole month and change to go play that.
So I played a lot of Ghostwire Tokyo. You should really check out that episode, and maybe check out the game, or check out the episode first, or the game first. I don't know, whichever one you want to do. You should do it.
Yeah.
Marvel Snap. I hate Marvel Snap.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't hate Marvel Snap. I really like Marvel Snap, but, and this is a big old but, I don't have the mental capacity right now to think.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I play games where I don't have to think. That's why I have podcasts on. That's because anything to stop my brain from thinking, and B, the necessity of thinking is great. The problem with Marvel Snap, yes. The problem with Marvel Snap right now is they've actually done an incredible job of balancing the meta game. So there isn't one deck in particular that is above and beyond all of the other decks.
It's nice to hear that that's still the case, because usually it's like,
yes.
Oh, it was good for a week, and then like everybody learned how to get around it, and now it's broken again.
Yeah, so the one exception to that might be High Evolutionary, who is the new card that came out, which is a game changer, because that's the card that gives your cards that don't have abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So it basically evolves the non-ability cards.
Okay.
That came out and just was dominating the meta for like 2 days. But the way that deck works is there's a lot of power reduction going on in that deck. So it's all about removing power and building your own. So everyone just put Luke Cage into their deck, which stops the power reduction. And then all of a sudden that's a lot more of a thinker's deck now, because you do have to think about what you're doing. The downside of all this is there is no one deck to rule them all.
Okay.
So you have to play and think and predict what your opponents are doing, and the mental chess game is now a very real part of the game.
Ah, I see.
And I am so exhausted and mentally drained every minute of every day right now that I will 100% snap and go all in on an 8-cuber that I am never going to win.
Right.
So I got up to like 82 and then dropped all the way down to 65 right now, because I just...
Oh boy.
Rather than stop playing and try to get myself some rest, I'm still playing and just irritating myself with how stupid decisions I'm making.
Just pushing.
Yeah, because it's just like I will make a decision and I will put a card in a place where I'm like, yeah, that's the best decision. And the second you hit end turn and it starts playing the cards, I'm like, that's like the worst place I could put that card. Like, why did I put it there? Literally one lane over, and I would have won this match.
You
but instead,
fool!
I placed it in the worst place because I'm a moron.
Right.
And I like the game. I'm just annoyed with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Is the key here, because it's so really well balanced at the moment. I'm just a moron. Is the key takeaway.
Yeah, you can't be
here.
like, oh, they were running in this deck and there's nothing I could do. It's just like, no, I played really badly.
Yeah, so the issue I run into is there is no decks where you don't well, the closest one is my favorite deck, which is the MODOK deck. There's no decks where you don't have to think, where you play your cards, you think a little bit about where the opponent might Shang-Chi or where they might do Enchantress and how that's going to benefit you. but it is minimal thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem now is everything is like it's fourth dimensional chess, and you have to be thinking at about turn 6 on turn 1.
Right. Gotcha.
And I can't do that right now. I just mentally cannot do that. So I'm killing my fun with the game by being bad at the game, but it's not the game's fault, it's my fault.
It's not you, Marvel Snap. It's me.
Well, that's what you said when you got rid of it a while ago.
That's right. It's not me, Marvel Snap. It's you.
Yeah, that is the truth. Honestly, the only other thing I've been playing is Jedi Survivor. Well, Loop Hero, We Roguelike It, Ghostwire Tokyo, Game Club, Jedi Survivor, for funsies.
Right.
I love a good visual representation in video games.
Okay.
I have a perfect example of this. Dead Space 2 has one of the best visual representation shifts in video game history. Not Dead Space 2, BioShock 2 has one of the best shifts in video game history where your perspective on the world is changed, and that changes everything you thought you knew about the game in general.
Right. That's so good.
It is one of the best moments in video games for me personally.
Yep.
For me, that moment trumps Would You Kindly.
Right.
Easily. There is a sequence in this game where it gives you a visual representation of a different person's powers. Nimp knows exactly what I'm talking about here. And I adore it. It's the Nightcrawler thing of what happens when Nightcrawler goes through a portal. Oh, he's actually going through hell. It's just, you don't know that because time doesn't slow down enough for you to experience it. And when it does, you realize what's happening.
Yep.
And it's that kind of visual representation of someone else's powers. And it's like, this is really cool. And it gels really nicely with my 2 new abilities that I got that allow me to do fun things, like traversal abilities, which allow me to do really cool things. You were right, Nimp. I finally got the lift ability. I don't know why it didn't click with me that would be the ability. Like, it makes so much sense. Lift. Like, it's literally a default Jedi power. Why didn't I not think lift?
I think it was because we were just expecting something more, and then they were like, "No, we're just doing this." And we're like, "Oh, of course you are."
Doing the Jedi power, yeah.
It was black and red sunken into a tar pit, and rather than think size matters not and lift the thing up, I thought it's black and red. That's Sith crap. So of course we're gonna get dark side at some point.
Your problem was that you were applying Lego Star Wars logic to this instead of just Star Wars logic.
That is literally exactly what I was doing.
Red and sparkly. That's Jedi. That's Sith stuff.
Honestly, that's literally exactly it. Everything I saw that had that kind of can't do this right now, it was red and black. Like every single time, and he's not wrong. I hate you for that because I didn't think about that, and now I'm not going to be able to not think about that. Thank you for ruining my brain even further.
You know, that's what I'm here for. It's what you brought me onto this show for.
That's right.
Yeah, ruining me apparently with our supernatural TV show.
Because Boston's a rock. I gotta whittle away at him. So
that's right. You get my love of Prinnies. That's how it happens.
And I can barely talk straight sometimes, so you know, it works out.
I'm trying to think about what I can talk about without spoiling stuff. I had the second fight with the guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep. Did you think it was a cooler fight or the second time around?
Yes and no, because he started doing stuff which explains why his particular appearance is not a hindrance to him.
Yeah, he started doing cool mechanics. Yeah.
Well, he starts doing things that me, a normal human, fit. This is gonna. The way I'm about to phrase this is gonna sound crazy if you think when you think I'm talking about me versus a Jedi. But he starts doing things that me, a human, would not be able to do if I was in the situation he was in. But
Yeah.
because he's a Jedi, he starts doing stuff where he does some motions and starts swinging some stuff around. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's really cool. What you're doing right now is incredible. I don't know if I like the fact that this representation is a bad guy again for the 50,000th time.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is still cool. I just don't understand why we don't see more people in that particular person's situation, considering the world that we live in the game.
Yeah. Man, he would have made a perfect candidate for just a Grey Knight. Even though I know they're not
100%.
canon or anything, but it's
Yeah,
like,
don't even. I literally had arguments with people this week about Grey Jedi. It's like, I'm not kidding when I say I literally had arguments with people about this. It's like, no, the best Jedi's are the Grey Jedi's. Well, they don't count anymore because they're not. Don't.
Barf. They can still be cool.
This guy is at the point where it's like, again, you kind of get the backstory for why he's a villain. It's like, all right, that seems kind of weak, but whatever, I get it. Especially when you fill him in on, hey, what you're feeling right now happened like 500 years ago. I understand to you it's fresh, but you know the galaxy's a different place and kind of worse off than when you left it. So,
well, he's the Count Dooku of this era, kind of thing.
Sure.
And he wishes he doesn't have that kind of style.
That's
true. You know what? That's actually true. You know, I know they say no capes, but Count Dooku makes it work. That's
Dude,
all I'm saying.
That's right.
You gotta look dapper when you're throwing lightning.
That is true. But the game is genuinely still fun. I'm liking the story, the character development I talked about. Obviously I don't want to say too much because there is a lot of spoilers abound. But the character development I saw last week is still continuing. I want the story to go one direction because a thing just happened. And I'm hoping it leads that direction. It's not going to. It's going to go the opposite direction. And I'm expecting it to go the opposite direction, so that's fine. They did. I don't know if I need them to keep making references to the movies.
Oh, sure.
And I'm not talking about like, oh, it's a lightsaber. I'm talking about specific lines. There is a moment before a giant boss fight, something happens, and then someone asks a question. It's like, you didn't need to say that. Like, you just didn't. You didn't. That is a direct line from the movies. You don't need to say it. Like, we're already swinging lightsabers around. The nostalgia is real. We don't need the line to make up for it too.
You already know what it's from. It's not a secret.
Yes.
But on the plus side, though, it doesn't do that a whole lot.
Yeah, it's minimal, or they shift it just sideways enough to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. I see what you're doing here. That's a nice reference.
Yeah. And some of them cut so deep that unless you're a nerd, you didn't get that it was a reference to something, so...
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I love the battle droids. Like, they are so good in this game. Like,
it felt nice having them back. I don't know what it is, but it just... reminds you of a gentler time, you know, when everyone was only angry at a movie and not the world.
Are you telling me the prequels period as a Star Wars fan was a gentler time? Because I've got some news for you.
No, I meant like how it felt like super campy, because that's what I got out of the original out of the prequels, is just how campy it felt, even compared to the original trilogy.
I mean, that is 100% true, and they are.
What I love about the droids.
Movies.
Yeah, you have droids arguing over who has, you know, the higher rank out of the two based on their serial numbers. Just dumb stuff like that. It's not serious. They're not bloodthirsty droids that are looking to kill you. They have their own problems for some reason.
They're just little guys.
They're defective. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like this game a lot. It's still beautiful. I'm pretty sure I've still got, maybe based on the size of the quote-unquote galaxy map, I've got maybe 2 or 3 more planets to go to. I just unlocked a third location at one of the planets, I think. But I'm doing the thing to get the thing to do the thing. Spoilers.
Oh, yes.
I'm so
All the MacGuffins.
I'm talking around it broadly for a reason, but I literally can't recommend this enough. Like, if you're a fan of that type of combat, that type of game, especially if you like the first one, like this, I'm not really feeling any downsides with this game yet. So far, even the sliding is better.
Yeah, I haven't fallen through the world randomly or anything, so
All right.
I have to ask you. I haven't played it since I beat it. Have they released a patch yet? Since the
patch came out like 2 days ago.
Okay.
And it was a big one too. It was one of those ones that had like a laundry list of things that I'm like, I'm not reading that. I just got to update my game. I'm fine.
Yeah, probably just all the fun random bugs and stuff. So I'll have to download that. Because I don't.
Yeah.
I think I maybe ran into like 1 or 2 hiccups here and there the entire time. So
also, I now have like 4 lightsaber stances. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Like what happened there? I'd like to know, please. I don't know. Anyway, yes, that's all I've been playing. Mr. Nimp, please take us away.
All right. So this week, Angel and myself tried a lot of different things.
Okay.
He wanted to play Elite Dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to write that down because I had
scratch.
forgotten that a lot of these you don't have to write down. I had forgotten that I could import my Xbox save to the PC save before they drop or after they dropped Odyssey when they announced that they're not supporting console anymore. So I updated Elite, jumped into Elite, and I'm like, I am nowhere near the bubble where I left off. Oh yeah, that's because I shifted my save, so I'm in Colonia, which is 22,000 light years from the bubble.
Oh.
So we canned that because that was not going to be happening anytime soon.
Right.
It's like, what, 10 hours real-time journey, roughly?
Yeah, I mean, if I push it, probably 5, I could get it done. I've seen people speed run it, so I just know. So then he wanted to try, and this is over the course of a couple days here, he also wanted to check out Star Citizen. My PC does not support that game anymore, like, at all.
Okay.
Gee,
So
I
I'm like,
wonder why.
Yeah, so I'm like, nope, okay, I can't do that right now. I would have to update my PC, and that is not happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like, build a new one, update it.
Not for Star Citizen, of course.
Yeah, not right now. I got other things I have to do. So, we were looking at Game Pass. I'm like, all right, we have all the Battlefields on here. We also have all the Gears of Wars on here.
Okay.
We had seen that I vaguely remembered them remaking the first Gears of War, at least doing like an HD version of it. So we downloaded that. We also downloaded like most of the Battlefields to check out. So we finally landed on playing Battlefield 5.
Okay.
This takes place in one of the World Wars. I don't remember. I wasn't really paying attention. Neither of us were.
Battlefield 5, I think, is a sequel to Battlefield 1. Ironic.
Yeah, so I'm guessing World War II then?
I think it's World War One, I believe.
Still? Okay, because I know the first one is definitely World War One. So we played 5. 5 is actually pretty fun. I was doing well for killing people. I was also finding out that we can build things in this game.
Oh no.
Because I was running around with a hammer for the longest time, and we couldn't figure out why there was a hammer, so I was thinking it was a melee weapon. So I was running around trying to melee people with the hammer. I'm like, this isn't working. And then randomly, when I respawn next to Angela, all of a sudden I see like a floating hammer icon. And then I see like a shadow of something. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I hold down the attack button and I start building a barricade. I'm like, oh, we can build stuff. By the time Angel turned around, I had already completely barricaded like this train station thing that we were in. You cannot pick and choose where to put things. Things are already designed to be somewhere.
It's the shell.
Yeah, you just show up, and if there's something to build there, you can build it. But you can't see it unless the hammer is out. And even sometimes then, you don't see it. So this train station, we were on the top platform when I first noticed it, and I built like a bunch of fortifications around this one train car. I then went downstairs and I built like this. They had like an ammunition box thing that I built up. I built up walls and stuff. I built up like all this cyclone wiring and concertina
Jeez.
wiring and all this stuff all over this thing. And then I had a guy with a tank who was super mad that kept blowing up the wall. So I was standing off to the side and rebuilding the wall. And every time he would blow it up and I would rebuild it, I would get points. So we played that game for a while of him being mad, blowing up 3 walls, and I'm just running behind there, rebuilding them for. I made up a lot of experience with this game.
That's great.
So it was fun. The aiming in this one feels a lot tighter, and I don't know why. I think the weapons in this game in 5 feel like they do more damage than they do in 2042.
Oh, okay.
I feel that everyone's a little less bullet spongy.
Yeah.
Kind of. Which is great because I was running around with a submachine gun. So as long as I was center mass, I was golden.
Nice.
So we played a lot of that, and then he wanted to check out 1 because he had tried to check out 1 earlier in the week, and there was like 1 server that was up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And we get into 1, and there are 3 servers up and running.
Hey, all right.
And that's it. They were all custom servers. The one that we eventually got into was set up like the Call of Duty hardcore mode, where there's not a map, there aren't indicators above people's heads or anything like that, and everything is pretty much a one-shot kill kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was okay. Friendly damage was on, which sucked, especially when people didn't have the notification or the indicator above them.
Right.
So and everyone looks the same. Like there was no real, like, uniform wise, there wasn't a big enough distinction to just see somebody and tell if they were an enemy or not.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times what was happening is when you aim at somebody, it would flash either a blue indicator indicating that they were on your side or a red one indicating they're the enemy. But it would be like very briefly. So I started doing that a lot, and I managed to get behind a whole team by accident because they saw me, but because we didn't have indicators, they just assumed I was a friendly because I wasn't shooting them. And the only reason I wasn't shooting them was because I was following a bunch of people on my team at some point, and I would guess they all killed them. I don't know. But so as they're running by me, I'm looking, and then these are all the enemies. So I wipe out one guy that runs by. Another guy runs by me, looks at me, keeps running. I shoot him in the back, and then the rest of the team shows up, and I just wipe them all out until someone says, "Oh, this isn't a friendly. Let's take him out." And yeah, so I lasted all of 5 seconds after that. But for some reason, the first or 1 is dead. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Because it doesn't feel bad or anything. It plays fine. So I don't know what the big issue with 1 is. Yeah. Meanwhile, 5 is still running just fine. So
right.
I don't know. But so at some point, since we're just bouncing around, we may pick up 5 or 1 again, depending on how many people are actually playing what game. But at some point, we are going to start doing co-op for the updated version of Gears. Because Angel, I was saying, I can't remember if he just never played the first one or he never played any of them.
Wow, okay.
So I was like, all right, we'll just...
Yeah, start from the beginning. They're all great, especially co-op.
We can co-op it. Yeah, they're all in there. We can do co-op with them. I was joking about, they even have Gears Tactics.
Yeah.
I was like, can we co-op in that game? No, you cannot.
Bummer.
But I never played that one. But yeah, so we're going to go through... The first ones, we're going to figure out where Judgment fits in at some point, because I think that's between 4 and 5 or 3 and 4?
3 and 4.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Okay.
Judgment is the prequel to the first one, told by Baird.
Yeah.
About what happened that led to Marcus being in the situation he is in at the start of the first one, I believe.
Right.
Because I've never played Judgment or Gears Tactics.
Me neither.
Judgment is very different. It's the people can fly game. So it's a very. I thought it was pretty fun, and Tactics is if you like XCOM, you'll probably like Tactics.
Okay. I was gonna say, because I remember Judgment. A lot of people were complaining about the modifiers that you could have in the
Yep.
game, but a lot of people
Which
were
are
saying,
optional.
yeah, but a lot of
Yeah.
people were saying that that's the whole reason to like the game is because of the modifiers.
It makes
And I was
it
like,
makes
well,
it a very different experience. Yeah.
yeah. And Tactics is just one of those that I keep forgetting that they did that.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
surprisingly, they do not have the Fun Pop Gears of War game on Game Pass.
Oh.
It's
Odd.
because it's discontinued. It is closed officially. I think it was a
Right.
cell phone game.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was
I
Clash
forgot
of Clans, but Gears.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
closed it down. Made it like a year and a half, I think, and then they closed it down.
I had brought that up to Angela. I didn't even know it existed, and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not important that it's not here.
Yeah, it didn't last
Yeah,
very long. It
I
was
think
okay, but it didn't last.
It was
long.
literally Clash of Clans, I believe.
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah.
So yes, that's our plan with that. So we're gonna play around with Gears at some point. And then my final game is Diablo 3.
Yeah.
I have beaten the game again
Nice.
in hardcore mode. So I got the trophy for doing that. The trophy for doing that. The
Nice.
only enemy in 3 that has ever hit hard is the Reaper boss at the end of chapter 5.
Oh, yeah, that dude hits like a truck.
Yeah, that
What
is
happened?
the only enemy in the entire game, and that was
Mhm.
the only one that I was worried about.
Yep.
Because fighting Diablo, no problem.
Nope.
Fighting any other mystical epic enemy, no problem. For some reason, Reaper was like he just looks
Is
at you and
Reaper
you're
with
down
a
half health.
cloud? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I managed to take the Reaper out no problem, and now I am doing the adventure mode with my character. My character's at 59 right now, so I just need to get him to 70, and then that's the last trophy that I needed for hardcore mode.
Nice.
The Witch Doctor just it doesn't feel powerful at all. Like there's no ultimate, I guess, kind of like
It's a
with the
weird class,
Necromancer.
yeah.
With the Necromancer, you can get like kind of, it's not really a combo, but like a combo going where it's like you're building up and then you start getting all these corpses and then you start doing corpse bombing, which almost kills everything in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
But with this one, it's like there's nothing to build up on. It's like I have the zombie dogs out. I have like this one giant zombie troll that's rolling around with them.
Rain of frogs.
Yeah. I actually have the thing where I throw a fire spirit out and it actually bounces in between all the enemies.
Oh, nice.
Which has helped out. I have the thing where like the skull pops up in the air and just barfs out like a bunch of poison everywhere.
Okay.
And then I've got like this spirit thing that'll go out and hunt down enemies, and then it'll just slowly, constantly drain their health until it dissipates. And if they die, it like recharges it and it goes off and finds another enemy. But I mean, there's nothing hits hard.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like my triangle attack is like this thing where like a witch doctor shows up in the air and everything that's around me turns friendly or is confused, one or the other. But yeah, there's just nothing that if I get hit in a pinch, it's like, no, I need to run away.
Yeah, it's like a slow and steady kind of class instead of
Yeah.
a burst class.
Which is good,
Yeah.
because you don't, like, if I really want to get the platinum, I have to play like 2 or 3 more classes.
Because I think you have to
One, two,
play you have to
three.
get each class up to
The
60?
70.
To 70 now?
Yeah. So
Which
I have
is
to play
fine.
the Barbarian, the Demon Hunter, and the Sorcerer. I think I don't have at level 70 yet either.
Okay. That's not so bad.
So I'm fine with them not all feeling the same.
Yeah.
It's just even with my Crusader, I remember feeling like I have to play my Crusader differently from my Necromancer, because my Crusader has to be in the middle of whatever is happening. That way I'm constantly getting the hits. That way I'm constantly getting the health recharge.
Right.
And the mana recharge. That way I can just drop stuff everywhere. The Sorcerer, like, I have to be away from everything so I can just light it all. Like, that is definitely a range character. You are a glass cannon, depending on how you have your Sorcerer build up. And I haven't messed with Barbarian or Demon Hunter yet, but I like the fact that they're not just like cookie cutter. Yeah, it's a different skin, but they all pretty much play and feel the same kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
It just seems weird that the Witch Doctor kind of feels like a ripoff of the Necromancer and not a good one.
Yeah, it's always been I think that's probably my least favorite class. Like, it's fine, but there's something about it that just doesn't click with me.
Yeah. But whatever, it's still fun. This is, as Moon was saying, I have 30 minutes to play a game, so
Yep.
I am gonna bust out
Do some
Rift real
bounties.
quick.
Yeah.
And then that's all I was able to accomplish for a day.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the only video game I've played at all today. Was I had 30 minutes to run a Rift, and that was what I did.
There you go.
So yeah, other than that, Diablo 3 is still fun. I'm maybe going for the platinum. I don't know. It's right now. It's just the game that's catching me. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You just got to do like a little bit of everything.
I think the one thing that I have to actually look for is you have to destroy 50 items all at once
in one chain. Yeah, I had to.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I did that. It should be easier now that you can do Act 5 because there's that like giant graveyard area. You can probably do it really easy with Demon Hunter.
That's what I was thinking, because I couldn't do it with my Necromancer. I would get like up to 40.
Yeah.
But then I would run out of stuff, and I couldn't. The chain is stupid short too.
It's
the
very
other
short.
problem.
Yep.
So I just couldn't get it above 40. Usually I'm hitting around like the teens or maybe mid-20s for the most part, trying to do it. So I was like, screw it, I'll look this up and see what the internet has to say.
Yeah, see where the
this,
one spot is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week.
All right. I played a bunch more of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. No spoilers this week because I played a bunch, but I haven't really done anything. Like I've been mostly trying to explore more as much as I can. I did get the final tower. That one was actually pretty fun to do because every once in a while you go to a tower. And about half of them, you just walk in the front door, you activate the thing, you get the cutscene, and then you fill in that part of the map. But the other half are kind of, oh, I can't get into the door. What am I going to do? So you have to sort of find your way sort of into the tower by some sort of means. So that was fun. I fully upgraded my Pura pad, that switch pad that you get. Because I've done kind of all the optional quests to do that stuff. Most of that stuff was actually pretty fun. I am hopelessly addicted to the camera again in this one, because thankfully I got it fairly early on. I would recommend Googling how to get that and doing the quest for how to do that early, because I'm now just taking pictures of everything, and I'm always running into something where I'm like, oh, have I taken a picture of this? Oh, yeah, I did. So that has been pretty fun. I'm trying to do as many shrines as possible. I now have the shrine detector, you know, that really annoying one from the last game. The beeping. Yep. Thankfully, you can turn it off super easily now. And I don't remember if you could do this in Breath of the Wild, but you can take a picture of something and then use your sensor to find that thing.
Oh, I
don't remember.
I want to say you can, but I don't know how it's set up, because I remember doing that, but I can't remember if that was Hyrule Warrior as well, because I know in Hyrule Warrior you can definitely set it up where if you're looking for an item it would tell you. Yeah. But it's been so long since I played Breath of the Wild, I don't know if I'm getting those two mixed up or not. So
yeah, it's been pretty fun taking pictures of stuff and being able to track it with that. I didn't realize you could do that until there's a woman in the game that wants you to find all of the wells for her across Hyrule, and she does the very Zelda thing in like the red text of like, boy, I bet there's an item out there somewhere that can track all of these things and find them with a sensor. Cough, cough, cough. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do. Okay, cool. So that was pretty fun doing some of that stuff. I think the only thing that I've been trying to do as many of the shrines as I can. A lot of them have been really good. For the most part, I've been avoiding the combat ones, especially the ones where you go in and it takes away all of your equipment for the shrine.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I see him coming out in just like his underwear, I'm just like, all right, leaving. I don't want to do any of this because it's gonna be really annoying. And I think the only thing that's been frustrating me a little bit online is seeing some people saying the coverage of this game on Twitter has largely been, and I agree with this, I don't know how they made this game, because everything in this game, whether you built it or not, has a memory. So I talked about it a couple weeks ago where you get the recall skill, so you can rewind something. Like literally everything in the game can be rewound, even if you didn't make it. So the amount of physics stuff that is constantly running in this game at all times on the Switch is pretty mind-boggling. So a lot of the stuff you're seeing, like GIFs and short video clips on Twitter is like, I went into this puzzle and I kind of like, in a shrine, and I kind of broke it in a fun way, and here's my solution. Isn't this great? And I think that stuff is super cool because I like seeing I solved this puzzle in a totally different way, and this person, because of however their like the creativity for them works, they solved it this way. And I really like seeing that stuff, but there's always this cadre of people that are always like, oh, so that's how I was supposed to solve it. It's like, no, there is no supposed to solve it. They just give you the tools and they say, get over this chasm with lava underneath it. Go do it. Like, there's no supposed to.
My son actually brought up, I don't know if it's the same one you're thinking of, but he did bring up today about something with a chasm with lava that he had to go into, got to the other side, and then had to figure it out from there. And he was like, I don't know if I was supposed to do it the way I did it. And I was like, well, did it work? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, then that's how you were supposed to do it.
There's
not 15 different supposed to do it ways for this one
It's not dumb if it works. Like, that's the motto of this game, is like, I made this raft that is self-powered and I can drive it, and I just drove it across this lake, and it took me 2 minutes instead of the 15 minutes I was supposed to do it. And it's like, then that's great. You solved a cool problem and you solved a cool puzzle. Like, I've been doing stuff in a totally different... I saw someone say like, oh, I went in this shrine and it took me 3 hours to solve it. And when I went in the shrine, I like broke the mechanics of it in a way that I got taught somewhere else to do something different. And I was like, oh, I can just use that to skip this. So I skipped it, built something different because I had messed up and I'd taken a long time to solve another shrine. I was like, oh, I bet if I can build this way, I can make this thing like traverse this track, and it worked perfectly the first time. But because I had learned something from like 2 or 3 other shrines, I'm like, oh, yeah, I bet if I put all that together, like, that's the cool part about Tears of the Kingdom is, and I feel like that's what I didn't click with Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, is that thing of like, here you go, here's your objective, go do it. And I feel like that's the thing that's really clicking with me this time. Nevertheless, the whole rest of the game is great. I'm still avoiding combat largely because everything hits like about 5 trucks with gloves on them. Like, it's everything still really hurts in a way that is still pretty frustrating. And I've upgraded my armor quite a bit. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm just supposed to be avoiding combat as much as possible. I'm not sure, but I've been juggling this game and another game this week, and I have been appreciating the design of this game a lot. I'm not following any real objectives at the moment. It's a lot of like, oh, look at that cool thing over there. So it's perfect to pick up, play for 30 minutes to an hour, maybe finish a shrine or something, or solve like a puzzle out in the world, and then just be done with it, and I'll do the same thing the next time I pick it up. Like, I'll go back to the main objective at some point, but I'm not having as much fun doing the story stuff as I am doing the whole rest of the game. And we're actually watching this video from this person who's solving one puzzle in a totally different way than I did. I'm like, that's a cool solution. Like, yeah, you came up with a cool thing. Like, that's neat. How I'd like that there's this Zelda toolbox that they're just saying like, hey man, you just go crazy, go figure it out. there was a really big patch that came out this week. Is my last point. There's a really big patch that came out this week that removed the duplication glitches that were out there and bugs and stuff. So people can't really duplicate stuff anymore. I think the real bummer about it is I wish that this game, especially because it's so focused on building and experimenting and stuff like that, I really wish they had some sort of sandbox mode where you can just turn yourself loose in an area with all of these tools and you could just get whatever tools you need and just kind of build and make cool stuff and play around in the sandbox, as opposed to having to go out and farm stuff or get things or things like that. I think you could see a lot of cool stuff from this game if you could do that, but maybe that'll be the next Zelda game. Who knows? But
yeah, one of their DLCs, like here's sandbox mode.
Yeah, that would be super cool. I think the stuff that people are building is great, and if you can take those limits off of, I understand why they do it, because there has to be some sort of balance to building and making stuff and discovering in the game, and I certainly don't blame them, but I wish there was a way for, like, hey, you want to make cool stuff? Here's a playground. I think that would be pretty neat.
We're so close to a Zelda maker.
That'd be great.
I don't
Let's do it.
I don't get why they remove these kind of bugs and the duplication stuff out. It's a single player game. Who cares?
I think the only thing is because I think it was too easy to do. I agree with you in the majority of the cases that I think if there's no leaderboard, there's no multiplayer, like, you're not really ruining it. But I think so much of this game, from a design perspective, whether you agree with it or not, is about scarcity. It is about your items break, your weapons break, you're running out of stamina, you're running out of batteries and stuff. So I think for their design, I think that kind of breaks a lot of it. But I agree with you. I think it would be nice if at some point some of that stuff wasn't so much of a problem. Like, a lot of the stuff that people were doing to replicating was just like, I'm making a lot of meat because meat is really good in cooking, so I'm just gonna duplicate 45 giant steaks and then I'm good for a couple of hours. So,
well, we have to remember too that though this game looks great and is running great, it sounds like there's probably like 46 hamsters running on wheels behind all this.
Yeah, 100%.
So the duplication tricks were probably like one duplication away from just breaking the game.
Yeah, like you're breaking your save file permanently.
Yeah, because I think my son said that there are still duplication glitches that you can do even after the patch. That's patched out a couple of them, because it sounded like there were like 5 or 6 different ways or more,
a whole bunch
to duplicate. So it wasn't just one method, there were tons of methods to use. So
I'm still having a blast. I'm still kind of hopping in and out of it and having a really great time, and I wasn't really expecting to enjoy this as much as I am, and I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that I'm having a ton of fun with it. And you were mentioning about performance. I haven't really run into any major performance stuff. A lot of it is kind of normal Switch stuff where it's like, oh, there's a lot of fog in this area. It's starting to hitch a little bit. Or I used Ultra Hand to pick up something that's like 15 pieces and the game's chunking a little bit. But normally it's running pretty nicely. It's doing pretty well. So.
I was saying, my son, I believe, completed all of the temples or whatever the temple equivalent is in this game.
Right.
And I think his last major objective is like
finish the game.
Yeah, finish the fight kind of thing.
Right.
So he's just running around doing stuff. And from the stories he's been telling me, he's been doing some kind of crazy broken stuff in his games. So.
And the game really encourages you in a way that I think is really admirable, of just like, hey man, you see this thing? Like, just break it. Just go crazy. Here's a shrine. We're giving you a bunch of tools to play with. Go nuts. And I appreciate that. I think that's really cool. Next up, Theatrhythm Final Bar Line. The Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross first DLC pack has come out. The number one thing that I noticed when you fire it up is the DLC takes place in the End of Time area from Chrono Trigger, which is really great. It's nice to see that stuff in like the flower pot in the corner is sparkling like there's an item in there. That's really good. There are 6 songs. 5 of them are from Trigger and 1 is from Cross. The ones from Trigger are Wings Across Time, Chrono Trigger, Boss Battle 2, Battle with Magus, and Corridors of Time. So like all 5 of those are kind of what you would want. All of them are really great. The one from Cross I don't recognize as Radical Dreamers. It's a vocal piece that I don't remember at all. I like Chrono Cross a lot, and I don't remember this one at all.
I wonder if it's like a remastering of a song or something.
Or it's like the end credits song that I don't remember, because everybody remembers the intro song, the Scars of Time one.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that's going to be in the next pack. I haven't looked up what's in that pack yet. But these are really good. I think all of the songs that they've come out with have been all really, really great. And it's nice to see that the Chrono Trigger stuff was really great. Like all 5 of these songs are like, yeah, those are all 5 songs I would pick. Like Battle with Magus, you got to put that in there too. Like all of those need to go in there. I think the only complaint that I still have of all of these is I wish they had shipped with at least like 1 or 2 characters, because they don't have any additional characters in there. But it's not the biggest thing because it has like a background and it has a bunch of songs. But one of those things is like, I just like to see, Chrono and Robo in this game as party members, something like that. But this continues to be great. I kind of dip into this every once in a while when DLC comes out, and I'll play a bunch of the DLC songs, and I'll keep making progress in a lot of the songs I'm playing, because I haven't played all of the songs in the game, because a lot of them are, my kid is in the background being like, hey, the game is really annoying and it's super loud, and it's like, let me tell you about Chrono Trigger, kid. And she's like, yeah, Dad, cool. So a lot of that sort of stuff. Parenthood.
Yep.
So this continues to be great. There's still a bunch of DLC packs that are planned to come out for the rest of the year. So buying that, I bought the Super Mega Deluxe Suckers Edition, whatever that was called, and I've been pretty happy with that, because like every other week a new DLC pack comes out. I just download it and it's all good. So 2 thumbs up. Thanks, Theatrhythm. Last but not least, Destiny 2 new season came out, Season of the Deep. We're coming off of Season of Defiance, which was bad, to put it kindly. So there's a lot in this season. Titan is returning, one of the planets from the original Destiny 2. It disappeared before one of the expansions, like the bad guys essentially ate the planet and removed it. It suddenly showed back up, and you get to meet Sloane, which was the vendor on that planet, she's incredibly cool. It's essentially like Destiny's version of the Doom Marine, where she's just like this unkillable, amazing fighter. And she's essentially, when the planet disappeared, she's just been fighting the entire time, for however long that was gone. And as soon as it comes back, she's just like, okay, cool. I don't really want to catch up, but I think we need like a mission debrief. I'm a little bit overdue for that. So let's do that. Let's get back to work. And it's like, a lot of hers is like, this is the mission I was given, and I never fail the mission. So she's cool. I'm happy she's back. There's a ton of activities in this. There are 2 main activities. They're called Salvage is the first one. It's a 6-player, kind of randomly generated, kind of normal PvE thing. It feels pretty good. I wish there were a little bit more enemies in this, because it's a 6-player fight. Sometimes you don't always have a lot of enemies to shoot, which is fine. There are underwater sequences, because the Titan is covered in oceans of methane, liquid methane. So you do get to
Nice.
go underwater and get like the Sonic style bubbles where you're going from one air bubble to another. A little disappointed that nobody has done the like mashup of
Dun, 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 dun.
the underwater dun 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 dun.
I was
Like
gonna
nobody
ask
has.
if there was like an indicator.
There's like a bar, but it's
Oh, boo.
it's a little intense though when you start running out of air though, and you can hear your helmet cracking. Like it's a little intense. Where I'm like, oh boy, okay. Well, I hope you're not worried about underwater because this season's a little spicy for that. There's also a mode called Deep Dive that isn't 100% in the game yet, in the way that Destiny sort of does stuff, where it's going to get bigger and more complicated as the weeks go on. It is, in a weird way, roguelike-ish, where every time you finish an encounter, you get to choose one of two buffs that they leave on the ground for you to choose. A lot of them so far are like kinetic weapons do extra 10% damage, or headshots do 13% extra damage, or special weapons do X amount, stuff like that. So it's so far not super interesting, but Bungie has said that essentially you're descending into the ocean as you go by. You complete a couple of encounters and you fight a boss fight. They're saying you'll be able to go deeper and deeper every week. So in a couple weeks, I think we'll have the full thing, and we'll see how that works. So far, pretty good. The loot seems pretty good from that, but nothing too crazy. And the big thing they added was actual fishing in this, which is as addictive as I was worried it was going to be. There are little fishing spots on 3 of the destinations right now. I get the impression that there might be a 4th one at some point in the future. And it's a whole bunch of well-kitted out guardians around a fishing platform, just using their bait and catching a bunch of fish that are all puns of weapon names, which is genuinely really good. And it's been nice to see a whole bunch of people hanging out and working together and fishing up a bunch of fish while a bunch of fallen are trying to take pot shots at you. So it's been pretty fun. You actually have your main kind of hub in the game is the helm. It's like this floating ship. You can, every time you catch a new fish, you put one of them into the aquarium of the new area that unlocked in the helm. And then as you complete triumphs, you get new decorations for your aquarium alongside a bunch of decorations that reference past seasons and past expansions of the game. So a lot of it is pretty fun filling out this aquarium and seeing a bunch of new stuff get added as you go out there and you fish up some fishies.
Nice.
So far it seems pretty good. I think it's already leading on a better foot than the last season did. I think storyline wise, it's already quite a bit more interesting. I think it's one of those things where you're interacting with Sloane and she's not telling you everything, because they're always like, man, what happened? And she's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Nothing, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. I was just fighting Hive for like a bunch of years by myself. Everything's fine. So that's been pretty interesting. They also had another, one of my big complaints about Lightfall was that they didn't really explain the Veil, which was like the big MacGuffin to the entire thing. They introduced a new quest in here where you're learning a bit more about the Veil. It didn't tell us anything in the first mission, but it's one of those things where it's like, boy, we got a whole bunch of data and it's decrypted. I'm going to have to keep working on it over the next couple of weeks. And it's like, okay, I guess we'll have another step to this quest here in a couple of weeks, and we'll kind of do that thing over again. A pretty standard Destiny thing. So we'll see if they kind of expand on that. I'm not really expecting much, but I'm kind of hoping they finally get to it here at some point. But yeah, so far so good. I think it seems pretty promising already in a way that last season and Lightfall wasn't. So if anything, if it's not great, that's fine. I'm doing a lot of fishing, and it's a lot of fun. Listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm just using my fishing pole, just catching a lot of fish. Yeah.
Bust out your Sega caster.
Yeah, we're joking about it. I actually don't think I have that. I think I have the game, but I don't know if I have that controller for my Dreamcast. I don't remember.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't count if you don't yell fish at the top of your lungs.
That's right. That's right. Me just sitting alone in my house. Fish! So, yeah. So far, so good. I'm hoping this one is a little bit better than last season's, because it's that wasn't really doing it. So. That's all I'm playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yo.
Alright. I need to take a quick bio break.
Okay. I'm going to get the video set up here for our next segment. Moon, I added another documentary to our Critical Misses media list.
No.
I added Sound City. That's that Dave Grohl thing about that legendary recording studio. I was like, yeah, I haven't seen that. That's a documentary.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's get this. Switch over here to this. Make sure our feed doesn't totally break. There we go. Okay. Oh, boy. Goodness golly, we have recorded so much this last couple days. I'm so tired. Oh, man. What time is it? 4:45. Good God. Sweet release. Hey,
I've got a wrestling pay-per-view to watch after this.
That's true. I got editing to do, which is not as fun, probably. Hopefully, the pay-per-view is fun. That's always the goal.
Yeah, it's Double or Nothing, so it's one of their big, if you will, in WWE terms, it'd be one of their big, quote-unquote, big four.
Ah, okay. So chances are it'll probably be a good show.
Hoping so.
Yeah.
The main event is a 4 Pillars title match, which is 4 of the young people who AEW promoted from the get-go for the world title. So, hey, at least they're doing something.
Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready for the next segment?
Yep.
No.
And what a segment it will be.
That's right. One for the ages.
Oh, somebody remembered something.
Oh, God damn it.
You should have been doing this while I was gone.
No, I didn't want you to miss it.
Oh.
I think he would have been okay.
Want to hear a construction joke? I'm still working on it.
Oh, God.
An archaeologist is the best husband a woman can have. The older she gets, the more interested he is in her.
Okay, that one's all right.
How many politicians does it take to change a light bulb?
How
2.
many?
One to change it, and another one to change it back again.
God, okay.
What kind of shoes do spies wear? Sneakers.
Oh, God. Who?
I went to the bank and asked the teller to check my balance. She shoved me, but I didn't fall down.
Oh. Well.
How did the farmer mend the holes in his jeans? With cabbage patches.
Oh, God. Hi, Dimebag. Welcome back to the stream. Sorry you had to be here for this part.
I call my toilet the gym instead of the John. That way I can tell people that I go to the gym first thing in the morning.
Oh, lame.
News. Why did you relocate across the country? Said the newscaster to the weatherman. The weatherman says, because the weather didn't agree with me. That is bad. And final one for today. What's the difference between a teacher and a train? A teacher says, spit out your gum, and the train says, chew, chew, chew.
That one might have broken me. Boo!
And this was this week's special reading of Dad Jokes. It's a Punderful Life.
Swear to God. Okay, are you guys ready now?
Yes,
Yeah.
now I'm ready.
A little disappointed, but
Yeah.
Welcome to being involved with my life, dude.
Yeah. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of May 29th, 2023. Chicory, A Wonderful Tale comes out on Xbox One and Series consoles. This is Game Pass, day and date. That's that cute game where you play as a dog that paints the world. It's a Lane of Rain soundtrack. So people seem to really like that one. I haven't played that yet. Company of Heroes 3 gets a version for PS5 and Series consoles. System Shock comes out on PC. This is the remake that they've been doing that has been delayed a considerable number of times.
Studios several times. I
Yeah,
believe.
so you'll have to excuse me if I'm not entirely sure this is going to come out this week, but if we talk about it in a future show, then you'll know the answer to that, I guess. Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection comes out on Switch and PC. Watching the gameplay trailers of this, it looks like they did a really good job translating this game from the DS to the Switch. And PC looks pretty fine because you're just going to use the mouse to draw anyway. But I think it seems like they did a really good job on all of these. I think this includes the first 3 games.
Yep.
It's pretty expensive, truth be told. All 3 of those games are long as hell. You can buy them individually too if you just kind of want to check them out. But man, these Etrian Odyssey games are something real special if you have the exact brain worms that drawing a map, if that makes your brain happy, these games are real good, except for those FOEs every time. Skatebird comes out on PS4 and PS5. I don't think I'll be checking out Skatebird again. Sorry, Skatebird. I did not enjoy you when we played it. It's a bummer of a game.
I played it to completion and barely enjoyed it.
Yeah, just a bummer of a thing. Street Fighter 6 comes out PS4, PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Every time I see more footage of this game, it's more wild than the last one. I thought the most wild thing would be, hey, Cammy is fighting a truck. No, that's not the most wild thing.
That, and they got rid of her pigtails, but they added what was it, like those pieces of ribbon or whatever to simulate the pigtails.
Yeah. The thing that looks so cool that I if this game wasn't so expensive, I would probably check it out. I really like the wandering around the open world and getting into random fights with other actual people that are playing in the world. I think that's just the coolest thing. That other games have cool lobbies, like multiplayer lobbies and stuff, but just being able to go out in the world and be like, hey, that looks like another person. Want to fight? Like that's, and then you just have a like best of 3 match. Like I think that's super cool. So we'll see what happens when it comes out. Super Mega Baseball 5 comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series console, Switch, and PC. This
I didn't know they were to 5 already.
Yeah, I didn't either. I could have sworn I didn't know that 3 was out. This one looks like it has a handful of real life players in it, which is I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of like from a distance that Super Mega Baseball has always been like, there we go, the Cleveland Donuts are fighting the Krakens, like it's always these fake names and fake teams and places. Like I always liked that, so not sure about that.
Yeah, there's nothing like the Apollo hamburgers.
Yeah, exactly. Like my hometown team. Yeah. We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, Switch, and PC. They remastered We Love Katamari. You know,
I thought they already did. But
no, they only did the first one. So this will be the second one, and then the Royal Reverie is like a little bit of side stuff where you play as a young king of all cosmos. I don't remember if that was in... They redid some of this stuff for the PS3, I think it was. I don't remember if that was in that version, but first two Katamari games are great. So this one will be great. I hope they stop here, because the rest of Beautiful Katamari was a game I really liked, but it kind of wasn't really that great. So, and then Shantae comes out PS4 or PS5. This is the Game Boy Color game. It's the original Shantae game. Is getting a PS4 or PS5 release, which is a wild,
crazy,
a wild thing to think about in general. So, all right, let's move on to our news story of the week. PlayStation Showcase 2023. As the internet has told me, it's not a state of play. Apparently, there are higher expectations here. You shouldn't have those. We started off with Fair Games, which I think is how you pronounce and write that. The S is a $sign. This is from Haven, which is Jade Raymond's studio. I forgot Sony purchased them like a year or two ago, I think. This is the first game they've been working on. This is a CG-only trailer, so we're not entirely sure what's going on. It looks like kind of a heist shooter thing. Has a whole bunch of style that looks pretty interesting, but I don't think we really get a good idea of what's going on here. So I'm very excited to see what this studio is going to do, because I think last time I looked at who Haven has working for them, it seemed like a lot of really cool people. So we'll see.
Is this Payday? Future Payday?
That's what I was thinking. Like a different take on Payday.
It certainly seems like that same kind of like Payday heist thing. So I think that could be cool, because that's not... Payday is like the only one of those, right? Like we don't really have a lot of...
I mean, if you count the GTA stuff now.
Oh, that's true.
Stuff that they have. But, I mean, that was based off of the Payday stuff as well, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So,
like, the big thing that would get me to not play this is what appears to be a PvP mode.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's like crew versus crew, because that's sort of what the trailer seems to hint at. And I think if it's that, then that's... I agree with you. That's probably not the thing I would be going into, unless it's a like really casual thing, and it's not this heist is going for 2 hours and then it goes wrong because I ran into a really great team on the other side. Like that wouldn't be as fun. So next game here is Helldivers 2. This is... Let me skip past Jim Ryan here. Helldivers 2 very much has a trailer that Helldivers should have, of the "I'm doing my part," that sort of trailer.
Helldivers is the isometric roguelike shoot 'em up, right?
Yeah, like you fighting against bugs in space. That for the PSP.
So happy about your third note. No, it was a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah,
PS3. Yeah.
It may have come out on the Vita. There may have been a Vita version as well.
Yeah, maybe I was thinking of like a Vita spin-off or something. So, yeah, this looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Your second note, and it's third person instead of isometric now. It looks like interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, did they totally just Risk of Rainers? I think they may have.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so, I'm down with that.
Yeah, it looks pretty
cool.
Looks pretty neat. Yeah. Next up is Immortals of Avium. It's a fantasy thing. This is an EA Originals thing. I think we've seen this for a while. I think Sony has been promoting this pretty heavily, where it's like a first-person magic shooter thing, kind of like Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, so Boston, after Ghostwire Tokyo, Are you more or less reciprocating?
I don't know, man. I'd be a little bit more open to it, I guess, but it's I don't know. Um, I don't know. It looks interesting. But it also kind of looks like every game I've seen from like Spiders, like that studio, where it's like, yeah, it kind of looks weird in a maybe sort of charming way. Not entirely sure.
It looks like a B-tier version of a AAA game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, for us that's kind of a selling point. This is also coming to Xbox, so we'll see how this goes. I don't think this has a release window yet. I think it might be coming out this year, but it looks fun. Looks like it could be pretty interesting. Sorry, July 20th. That's that one. Next up, continuing the style, we have Ghost Runner 2. Not a lot. Go ahead.
Can someone remind me what Ghost Runner 1 was?
It's a first-person parkour future cyberpunk delivery
ninja thing.
Yeah, like I think the most things we've seen from... I didn't play Ghost Runner, and I probably won't play either one of them. Not because they look bad or anything, but I remember just seeing the style of them, and it's like, oh yeah, you're running really fast on walls and doing parkour and then slashing a bunch of people with a sword. Cyberpunk.
Now I know it. Now the sword.
As soon as you see gameplay in the sword, you're like, yes, Ghost Runner.
Yeah, I was saying, I think it went, at least the first one, I know a lot of people are saying it went pretty hardcore with the went hardcore with the parkour. The stupid timing stuff that go along with it. That's I know, right. I cracked myself up.
It's my favorite Limp Bizkit song. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this looks largely the same as the first one, which in a sequel, that's probably kind of what you want. So we'll see how that has a release window of 2023 and also coming to Xbox. Next one here, I think, is probably the longest trailer of this entire one, Phantom Blade Zero. It's got swords, it's got samurai, it's got a muted color palette, it's got rain, it's got everything that makes it look like maybe it's a From Software game, but actually isn't. It's made by another developer.
Is it Tenchi?
No, I don't think it's that kind of sneaking around thing. It's almost it seems like it's more of the maybe one-on-one 1v2 kind of samurai game, where it's that more deliberate kind of fighting system. I don't know. The vibes seem cool, but other than that, I'm kind of not entirely sure what this is. I'm assuming it's going to be a third-person hack-and-slash RPG thing. This
is where it's a Muso game.
I don't know. Maybe you make a Muso game that looks this good. Yeah, sure. Why not? I know that's like not the point
or something.
Yeah, like it seems very much like Sekiro, like that sort of thing. So I don't know. Looks kind of cool. Looks interesting. Could be something cool. A lot of like, my master taught me, that sort of thing. So next up is Sword of the Sea. If you liked Journey and you like sand surfing, Sword of the Sea is for you. Looks very much like Journey.
Abzu and Journey devs too. So
Abzu, the Pathless, and Journey devs are all kind of working on this, and it looks very much like a game that would be on a Sony platform. Like when Journey came out, it's like, yeah, sure, that's a Sony sort of game. So I don't know. Looks cool. Not a lot here for what you're doing, but another one of those games. It's like, yeah, man, you got some cool vibes. Like what
doing sick 180s apparently.
Yeah, like a sand half pipe. Like probably another one of those like bringing back the world kind of indie games, which is fine. So we'll see. I don't know. Not a lot about this one. I don't think there's a release window yet for that quite yet. A game that I genuinely didn't know was coming out until I saw the beginning of this trailer, and I thought, boy, that sounds a lot like the Talos Principle, and it is the Talos Principle 2. Because it's a lot of like, humanity has vanished. And
is that the one we played for Game Club? Like
the puzzle one with the robots. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, the language in the voiceover of this was very much like, boy, that sounds like some real Talos Principle, like metaphysical, what does it mean to have a soul things, and then it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's Talos Principle 2. It's like, cool, yes, I'm down for whatever weirdness this game will be and whatever impossible puzzles this will throw at me. So I don't know what this is going to be, other than I'm assuming it's going to be another puzzle game, and I'm 100% here for it. Just I think I've warmed up on that first game the further away I am from it, being like, you know what, that was a cool experience. That was a cool time. That was a neat thing. So we'll see. Talos Principle 2 also coming to Xbox, which is great. Great and not too surprising because it's a Devolver Digital published game. So that's coming out sometime this year. Next game this game here, Neva, I'm not entirely sure. I had to laugh about this trailer because it's very much one of those, look at me and my animal friend in this beautiful game. It's made by the developers of Greece, or Gree, sorry. It's like this lady with this animal friend, and I'm just like, man, this big animal friend is gonna die in this game, isn't it? No, it dies at the end of the trailer. So you don't have to worry. Is this thing gonna end? Is this thing gonna die at the end of this? Nope. It died about 30 seconds into this trailer. So I have absolutely no idea what this game is, because it's just kind of an art trailer here, like a indie version of the CG trailer. It looks interesting stylistically, so we'll see what that turns out to be. And then immediately the next trailer turns out to be a complete tonal shift to Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyways, there's a new Cat Quest game. You kind of know what is going on.
What is Cat Quest?
Oh, Cat Quest is like the cutest 2D isometric hack and slash, very friendly, like kid-friendly RPG. It's like one of the cutest games that's out on the market right now. There's like 2 or 3 of them already, I think. There's a bunch of them. If you want to play them, they're on sale for like $2.50 pretty commonly on all platforms. So that's also coming to Xbox. That will probably be as good as the other ones are. So next up, Square Enix showed off Foam Stars. Square Enix is making their own Splatoon. That might sound dismissive, but that's literally
exactly what it is.
What they showed. So I'm not entirely sure. I still respect Square Enix a lot for just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, but Splatoon is like one of the biggest games on the planet, so making another one of those seems like a real choice. Also, Square Enix has not told anyone who the developer is of this, so I'm not sure if it's Square themselves or just, hey, don't worry about it, like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. So we'll see, I guess. I mean, think...
I'm fine with somebody taking a whack at Splatoon, not to like take them down or anything, but like a new.
I want those squids killed.
Yeah, on the Splatoon model, because
right.
Splatoon is an interesting game where it's like, yeah, it's technically a shooter, but that's not the objective, and that's not how you win.
Yeah, like the turf war is like the main goal here.
We haven't had anyone else release or even try to go against it.
Right.
So
it's cool, and I mean, if anyone can stick with something for a while and like eat the money for a while, it'd be Square Enix. But we'll see.
In all honesty, this just reminds me of electronic clubs in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they started showing it, and the CG part started at the beginning, I was like, oh, cool. It's like more, they're showing off like Fortnite stuff here. And I was like, no, it's Foam Stars. I was like, okay. Interesting.
But I mean, like, they were showing stuff in that trailer with like the elevation of the foam, like,
that's
changing
cool.
How the map, you interact with the map and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I'm down with new concepts as long as it's just not a complete rip-off and they didn't really do a whole lot with it.
Yeah,
what was it, legally distinct enough? As
long
as they go past that.
Yeah. Next game here is the Plucky Squire, which we haven't seen in quite a while, I don't think. But man, this still looks really good. If you haven't seen the trailer for Plucky Squire and you're not watching the video version, please go check it out. It looks really, really great. Looks like a kind of like a Super NES, blue sky sort of fun friends adventure thing. I'm so excited for this game.
This is not the one that did come out of the book, is it? Yes, it is.
It is. Okay. Yeah. So this is. I think this game looks super, super cool, and I keep forgetting it because I keep forgetting this is the one where they come out of the book, and then they show me that, and I'm like, right, yeah, this thing looks cool as hell. Yeah, I want to play this, and then I keep forgetting that it's coming out, unfortunately. So I don't remember. It still says 2023. So
at some point.
Yeah, I'm excited. I will play that day one whenever that comes out. I think that looks really great. That is also coming to Xbox, another Devolver, so that's not super surprising. Next game here is Teardown. You probably saw this come out on PC a couple years ago. This is the voxel-based.
How is this coming to consoles?
I mean, they must have figured out the physics on this one, I guess. If you haven't seen this, it's essentially a heist game where you're kind of breaking into the place in an interesting way and kind of getting everything set up, and then once you do the heist, you're trying to get out as fast as humanly possible. So you're kind of setting up in the environment in the perfect way so that when you get everything done and you steal the thing, you can get out of there as fast as possible. Apparently it's really great. People seem to really, really love it. And
it was bringing 3080s to their knees.
Yeah, it was pretty intense when it came out. I'm hoping that it will be a smoother experience this time. But it's supposed to be really cool, and people seem to really like it. So that's Teardown coming out this year, as the large text here says. Next up, the worst kept remake here of the last couple of years, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This is also coming to Xbox. But this is a full remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater to specify. And this is as far as I know, it is a CG trailer. It'd be pretty incredible if it wasn't. But we get the song.
Engine is insanely powerful. The MGS engine is
it's very good.
Special.
Are they using the Fox engine for this?
I don't know.
I should hope so.
I would. Yeah, they developed it for so long. I think the only thing that Konami has answered is, we are quote unquote bringing back the voice actors from the original one. I think, reading between the lines of a lot of their statements and David Hayter's continued quiet around Metal Gear Solid in general, is they might just be using the voice acting from the original one and putting that in here, which, sure, fine. That was good voice acting. That was a good performance back then, so...
I'm sorry, but if David Hayter's being quiet about it, then he's re-recording it. If they were just using the original,
After 5, David Hayter doesn't want anything to do with Metal Gear Solid, except for cameo.
True, but I think that's why he would open his mouth about this if he wasn't going back in the studio.
The only thing is, I wouldn't mind personally if they would use the PS2 performances if they have the original recordings of them and they don't have the compressed PS2. Excuse me, the PS2 audio. For it. Because if they have the original ones and they
if they've got the masters, it's fine.
Yeah, if they have the masters and they do a little bit of work on it, great. Totally not a big deal. But we'll have to see as they go. This seems like Konami had a lot of statements coming out about it, and a lot of them seem like they're scrambling a little bit. So I'm not entirely sure all of what's going on.
Konami is scrambling when it's talking about video games.
Yeah, Konami is scrambling with an announcement. Who would have guessed? This is also coming to Xbox.
A million enemies.
That's right. And then they've also announced Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which includes Metal Gear Solid 1 plus VR missions plus special missions. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, the HD collection versions, so those ones that got like upscaled a little bit.
Yeah, and the first-person view mode and all that stuff.
Right, and Metal Gear 1 and 2. So that'll all be combined in one collection.
Nice.
The website for Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 is also like, the next step is a big question mark, and it'd be like, who knows? And it's like, just put out MGS4 on something other than the PS3.
That's
Like,
what
just
we were talking about. It
just
needs to
put it out
exist somewhere else.
You want to put out
Yeah.
Acid 1 and 2? That would be great.
Dude,
you want to cut out the gross
3,
stuff? Sure.
Or if they put 4 out with Acid, both
And
of
Peace
them,
Walker,
I would
Peace
consider
Walker.
that a win.
Thank you,
yeah.
Boston.
yeah, you want
Thank
to put out
Boston,
you want to
for-
put out all this stuff. You want to strip out like the Monster Hunter stuff because you don't have the licenses anymore. That's fine. Just like you want to strip out all the gross stuff out of Acid 1 and 2. That's fine. I get it. But like, just put out all of this stuff so people can play these games, like MGS4. Love it or hate it, it's a singular piece of work, that's for sure. But it would be nice if all that stuff was out. That's coming out in autumn of 2023. So, and I think
okay, it's a
also on
solid
Xbox.
Master
solid.
Collection.
Yeah.
I was curious if we were going to get a remake of Rising Revengeance in there too.
Yeah,
That could be the question mark.
I don't think with how they have made fun of that game in 5, I don't think they will probably be doing anything with that one. So
You know what? Maybe they've got the core numbered,
Mhm.
all right? And then they have, hey, this is the side stuff. So that's when they put Revengeance and Acid.
right. Bonded Desine goes in there
Yeah,
too. My personal
alternate
favorite
dimension. Yeah, they
Yeah.
put the Game
What's-
Boy version
what's
of Metal
the-
Gear in there.
one. Yeah.
What's the anime term for that? Sigma or something? Where it's like a
Gaiden.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You put
Metal
you
Gear
put
Gaiden.
Babel in there. Yeah, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got Tower of Agshabsba. I actually don't know what this game is. It looks a lot like a third-person exploration thing, and then this dude just busts out the Legend of Zelda paraglider thing. So I'm not. I don't know what of this is a city builder / Zelda game / exploration. Who even knows?
This is where
It's Dark
Boston.
Cloud 3. Yeah.
Oh, God, please.
Literally, I was going to say the same thing.
All right, now
I
I'm.
was
now I'm back.
starting with the word Boston because I was going to say
Uh-huh.
this is where Boston finds out it's Dark Cloud
I
Train.
haven't seen any fishing or golf, so that would be the thing that would
Yeah.
stop me. But yeah, I don't know. This one seems a little bit all over the place, but we'll see as this gets a little bit closer to release next year. Next up, Final Fantasy 16. Everybody's British. They're yelling.
So that's not an instruction
Ifrit.
for me, right? In your show
No,
notes?
that is. Yo, this is one of the British Final Fantasy ones. I don't know. I'm gonna play this either way. I think this looks really cool. I think it looks fantastic. So much of this is like the problem for me with so many of these trailers that Square puts out for big Final Fantasy games is there's so much CG and there's so much out of context yelling
There is no
lore
gameplay
stuff.
ever.
Yeah, there's gameplay in these trailers, but it's not enough to show me, like, is this just a flashy thing like people thought Final Fantasy 13 was? Or are you kind of making... Like, Final Fantasy 7 Remake came out with, like, an action-y RPG system that I thought was really cool. Are you doing that again? Or are you doing this, like, flashy particle PS5 thing? So... I don't know. I'm going to be playing it either way because it's a Final Fantasy game and it will probably be really great. But I want to see more of that, especially since this is like the big PS5 exclusive RPG. Like, I want to see more cool stuff here.
And they're toting that there is not a day one patch for this game.
Yeah, the
Yes.
director came out and said,
Yes.
we want people that buy the disc to play this offline, so we're not going to be putting a day one patch out. I was like, I would love for that to be the case. Like, I would desperately love that, especially for those people that are playing it offline on the disc. I just would like to... I need to see that before I believe it. Swear.
Because it's bull.
I mean,
it's bull.
it doesn't have to be, but it probably will be.
Yep.
So that's Final Fantasy 16. Next up is Alan Wake 2, aka Alan Wick. This looks...
If you had me laughing in the background, it was because I caught that note, by the way,
That's right.
while you were talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I really want to play this. This looks really good. You're not playing as Alan Wake this time. You're playing as this lady FBI agent. I like that the Sam Lake is just like a character in this game. It's really good. He's just right there.
He's in all of their games,
I know,
dude.
but he's just like, he's right there with his face. It's so good. This looks really great. Alan Wake says the "I'm a writer" line, which is pretty much all I need. And it looks like it's tense and spooky, and I everything in this trailer is like, yeah, man, Alan Wake was really great. Alan Wake 2 looks really good.
When Alan Wake Remastered is on sale right now, by the way, I think it's $15.
Oh man, that's a steal. That game was great. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, go play that game if you haven't played it yet. So this comes out October 17th this year. Next up,
in time for Halloween. Nice.
Oh, there you go. Next up is. Go ahead.
They just never put out horror games properly, where it's always like, oh yeah, this is coming out in January. It's like, you couldn't have released this in October.
Like,
yeah,
come on, man. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Alan Wake 2 is also coming out to Xbox. Assassin's Creed Mirage also coming out to Xbox. This is a lot of like sizzle reel footage of like, oh look, he's jumping off of a tower and he's stabbing two dudes at once and stuff like that.
Now, is this a prequel to Valhalla? Because there's some things I need to know. Is that a spoiler? Based on the ending of Valhalla.
In which timeline?
Yeah, I think that's to be determined, because it stars an important person from Valhalla, but I'm not sure where it is in the timeline. The main thing they've been...
Is Mirage a prequel to Valhalla?
There you go. Because the majority of the stuff that they have been promoting for this is a return to the kind of sneaky stealth Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 stuff.
This was the smaller Assassin's Creed they were touting.
Yep.
And yes, this is a prequel to Valhalla.
Oh, spicy. Okay, interesting. Cool. I don't know. It looks cool. I like the Assassin's Creed games already. This looks like, from at least a lot of the footage, it looks like kind of a return to some more sneaky stuff. I hope that's the case. I think it would be neat to kind of go back to some of the origins of the franchise. Gotcha. But we'll see how much of this, that really is, or if it's just kind of marketing stuff. So,
because I honestly don't know what direction I would want Assassin's Creed to go into.
Yeah,
because they kind of burnt me out on both directions they've already taken.
Yeah,
they're good, but it's just I don't need it.
Yeah. Next game up here is Revenant Hill. This is the I don't know if it's a sequel to Night in the Woods, but this is very clearly from the same studio that did that. This is kind of another art trailer. I don't believe this is gameplay, but it's got a cool style, just like Night in the Woods did. Hopefully, this is another game where you play as a cat, because we don't have enough of those. Little Kitty, Big City isn't out quite yet, so we need more cat games. Next up is what is this called? Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This is not the fighting game. This is the third-person hack and slash RPG that was supposed to come out 5 years ago.
Forever ago.
Like a really long time ago. Just like the fighting game, this looks incredible. I really want this to be good. I like Grand Blue Fantasy a lot. The mobile thing, I burnt myself out on it because I played it too much. But this is pretty ripe for making a cool third-person hack and slash RPG thing. And it certainly nailed the style too. So we'll see when that comes out. When's this release date for this one? Doesn't have one. All right. Street Fighter 6 gets a trailer too, largely a story trailer, as far as you can tell, which is certainly an interesting thing for Street Fighter 6. They're trying to come out with a story thing here. Next game up that I certainly don't understand is Ultros. You're gonna have to watch the trailer for this, because I don't know how to describe this psychedelic fever dream.
I was gonna say you may need to be on psychedelics to be able to understand what's
Yeah,
happening.
I don't. It looks like a kind of 2D hack and slash, maybe Metrovania thing, but from a style perspective, is certainly not a copy of anything. So
I was say the color palette reminds me of Guacamelee.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was thinking of Guacamelee watching this. Of like, it's nice to see more really unique things where it's not like, oh, and you got another Ultros, not one of those things. So
Yeah.
looks pretty interesting. Next up is Tower of Fantasy, which is a game we saw a while ago, I think. This is the anime kind of mech based, almost Genshin Impact battle system sort of thing, that looks pretty neat. We get a little bit of gameplay this time, but not a whole ton. So I'm still pretty curious to see what this is, because I think fighting a lot of beasts and seeing a lot of large numbers and crit numbers pop up, but that's kind of about it so far.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like you're looking at the crit numbers and stuff. They're not taking a whole lot of health off. I was like, okay, so it's one of those RPGs.
Yeah, I did 1,000,000 points of damage, and it took off 2 pixels. One of those. So, still not a lot of information. So we'll see what that turns out to be. That's Tower of Fantasy. Next up, Dragon's Dogma 2, also coming to Xbox. This had a pleasant amount of actual gameplay for this. They showed off a ton of characters, did some story stuff, and it's just like, hey man, you're shooting light arrows, you're raining down meteors, you're making a giant light fireball in the dark, you're fighting dragons, there's a whole bunch of animal people. Yeah, like it's Dragon's Dogma in a way that is really great, and I really want this to be good. That first game was really great.
I was just talking to my son too. It's like, man, I am back at the point with the first game where I really want to play it, but I don't want to play it.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is, because every time I hear people talk about it, every system in this game is what I'm here for. And I enjoy playing the first thing, because God knows I've only replayed the first portion of this game like 20 some odd times. But it's just I always get to the first city and I'm like, all right, that's enough.
It's that first one is just, it's rough. It doesn't come together for a really long time, and when it does, it might not click with you in a way that I feel like you should just wait to see if the second one is like, hey, it's the first one, they just got it right this time.
But that's the thing. I still want to buy the second one even if I don't like it, because like I just said, it's got everything I'm here for. It's just for some reason it's me.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to support a game that I apparently don't like. So
yeah. Oh, that's way too long for Critical Misses, unfortunately. Man.
Yeah, long-awaited sequels, dude.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Next up, they have a VR section here. Started off with Resident Evil 4 gets a VR mode. Everybody act surprised that Resident Evil is going to get a VR mode. Yeah. Arizona Sunshine 2 got a trailer. I forgot that first one came out. This is a zombie game that has kind of cool, like, the scribbled writing on the screen that looks kind of fun. Looks like an interesting sort of shoot. It is a VR game that is a first-person shooter, but at least it looks like it has a little bit of kind of character to it instead of like, these guns are for real, man. Like that's usually what we get. So, yeah. That's coming out this year. It showed off a little bit of, what the hell is this game called? Crossfire Sierra Squad. That is literally the game I was just talking about of like, these guns are for real, man. So
Crossfire, like the franchise that just had the game on Xbox killed?
No, it's a different Crossfire.
Okay.
Which is not at all confusing. Next up is Synapse. This is the game we saw a while ago. That it's the black and white first-person shooter that has the like pops of neon color all over the place. Most notably, Stephen Bloom is the voice of the bad guy in this, which is perfect. I will take him in literally anything. I haven't seen him in very many games lately, so I'll take that.
Well, you chose to play Ghostwire in Japanese. I'm just saying.
I know. I wish I would have known that beforehand.
There's like a
and
ton of movement in that game too. It looks like.
Yep. And then out now, Beat Saber. They are also launching with a Queen pack, which is great. More people playing Queen stuff is super good, and I'm glad that Beat Saber is out on PSVR too, because I feel like that's kind of one of the killer apps for every VR. Is like, yo, you got that Beat Saber? Can I play Beat Saber? So
it's the thing to show it off. Yeah,
that's right. So that's out now. Next up, shockingly, Bungie showing off their new game. I was really interested in this even before it showed the Bungie name, because it has style. This is Marathon. This is the game they've been working on for a couple of years alongside Destiny. Also featuring a messed up moon, which I appreciate is maybe the house style at this point of like, hey, what happened to that moon over there?
Hey, we just are constantly that way. We can't help ourselves.
That's right. So this, I think.
Oh, that was
get out.
Come on.
God. This is most people are surprised it's not a single player game. I'm not sure why you would be surprised about that at this point when Sony bought them for live service stuff. But this is a PvP extraction shooter. If you haven't played an extraction shooter, that is Tarkov or Warzone, that sort of thing where you're sort of fighting and then doing an exfil. Bungie's come out to say that getting out is not the only way to win a match, so we'll see what that really means later.
Everyone else.
I was going to say stop everyone else from leaving.
They're also talking about like collecting a bunch of stuff and doing a bunch of objectives and stuff. So we'll see. They there's an ARG going on right now that apparently people solved a puzzle on a Vidoc came out, and they're basically like, yo, we're really early in this, so like don't expect this out at any recent point. So just kind of more details coming soon, but be cool, because we're taking a while on this one. So
yeah, asking audiences to be cool is mistake number one.
Well, that's true, unfortunately. So we'll see that whenever they start showing more stuff of that. And then they showed off a teaser trailer for Destiny 2: The Final Shape, which has Cade Six back in it, who died like 5 years ago. So I don't actually know what's good. So many people have hit me up. People are like, "Hey man, why is Cade back?" And I'm like, "That's the fun part. I have no idea. I don't know." Of all of us Destiny fans are like, "Oh, cool, new gameplay." Sorry, the what? Now is happening. So they did announce Nathan Fillion is returning to voice him, as he did not voice Cade in the final performance of Cade. So it's nice to see him coming back for that. And then the end of this trailer was just like, hey man, at the end of August we'll have more info. Bye. So thanks, Bungie. Appreciate it. Next game here is Concord. This is a CG trailer about plants in space, and that seems to be all of it. I don't know.
It's about going super fast through the air. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I missed something. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know the studio and I don't know this game, so am I supposed to know what this is? I don't know. I'm not sure.
That font is Atari font, and that makes me think it's going to be like a remake of a classic game.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice that. Yeah, interesting. They showed a trailer for the Gran Turismo movie, which
that looks
actually
stupidly good.
Looks good. Yeah, I am shocked about. Hey man, this looks
Boston.
cool. Yeah.
Hey Boston.
Yeah.
Tell him who's directed it.
Isn't it Neil Blomkamp?
Yes, it is.
It's a wild combination of things that, and it's very much the plot of the movie, as I've seen, is like the best Gran Turismo video game racers collect come together to race cars for real.
It's based on a real life story, dude. The guy who won the competition
Right.
in Gran Turismo to get a professional race driver contract.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Wasn't that Gran Turismo 5? Sport?
Three?
Three? I don't remember. One of them,
three.
yeah. That was that big thing where I was like, they're never doing this. They did. They did the thing.
Oh, dude. You're going to love this. Concord is a PvP multiplayer FPS. There you go.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe they should have put that in the trailer.
So anyway,
Next
the
up-
GTA or the GT movie is basically a Drive to Survive in movie format.
Great. I love it.
Yes.
And the trailer makes it look good. Like, real
does.
good.
Oh yeah.
It does, yeah. Next up, Jim Ryan comes back to stage to say, hey, before our final game, I'm going to announce something real dumb. Project Q is real. The streaming giant DualSense controller that streams games from your PS5. It's too dumb to be fake. It's actually real. No release date or window or price.
$5.99.
The Q stands for quitting after a year.
Heyo, got him. R.I.P. Vita. Yeah, man, the thing is, I'm the market for this because I'm playing a lot of M-rated games with a young kid who knows how to read in my house. But they're going to mess it up with the price. This isn't going to be like $100 or $150. They're going to be like, it's coming out at a budget price of $349.99. It's like, go to hell.
Dude, yeah. if it came out at 150, I would buy one of these, and I don't have a real use case for it.
Right.
But,
I mean...
Why is... I hate to show my green blood here, but why is this not an app on a phone?
It is an app already. That's the weird part.
Yeah.
It is an app on your phones and your PC.
This isn't needed at all. Yeah.
And your PS4. Like, you can play it on all of those things. The thing that they're promoting with this, I think is interesting, is that the Project Q controller will have all of the DualSense features, which you kind of really can't get with remote play on other stuff. I think you can get it if you use it on your PC with the remote play app, I think.
Release a peripheral that slaps on the side of phones.
They already have one.
Yeah.
They pulled it out. The Backbone 1. There's a PlayStation version
Well, I mean,
of that.
Release their own custom one that has all the features of the controller.
Yeah, but what if we could charge $350 for it? And what if it didn't work?
What if
that
we just
could
made
sound
an
like a good
NVIDIA
combo?
Shield? Yeah.
Yeah, it just... I really hope it works, and I really hope they put it out at a reasonable price, because I do think there is a market for this based on the number of people that are in our position and in our age saying, I would like to play God of War Ragnarok, but my PS5 is in the family room and the kids are around all the time. So I would use this. I just don't have faith in them to get it right. And there's no release window or price, so that's concerning overall. They also announced an official set of earbuds, which, okay.
Cool.
Sure.
I'm sure they're going to be cheap.
Yeah.
How
exactly.
how much are AirPods, Boston?
200 something?
Yeah.
200, 250?
So $1.90.
Pros
Budget,
are the same.
a budget price of
Pros are the same.
$450.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for them to be on sale for like $15 in about a year.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
thing. They won't ever go on sale.
Yeah. But last game here we have is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. And of course, it is a Spider-Man sequel, so of course he has to have the symbiote. And he's grumpy. He's grumpy about it. He has big feelings about it. I don't know. They show off a lot of stuff. They've Kraven the Hunter here, which is, I think, a really fun villain to have in your Spider-Man game. I think I like them putting him in this thing. They showed off a lot more gameplay than I was expecting. I thought this would just be like, hey, here's a CG trailer. Hey, do you know about Venom? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they show off a lot of gameplay, especially with him and Miles kind of doing a bunch of stuff together. So,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm okay with them having the suit in there, especially if Miles is going to be traditional, more traditional Spider-Man. I mean, obviously,
I think that'll
he
help.
has his
Yeah.
own set of skills, so I think that
Right.
works. But if that's the case, put Venom in it.
Yeah, I know this will be good, and I will play it, and it will be fine. But I'm kind of tired of the symbiote stuff in general. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not the biggest Spider-Man fan
I'm
to begin with,
I'm
but
tired of the constantly rehashing the beginning of the symbiote stuff because
right.
the symbiote story and lore goes real crazy.
Hmm.
Like,
There's a Ghostwire
and
Venom at some point, isn't
yeah,
there?
you find out that the whole point of the symbiotes is to get the DNA of all living things in the galaxy, and I will
Hmm.
leave it at that. I mean,
Right.
the story goes so far with that crap, and they
Hmm.
never get to it. It's always this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it looks cool. They show in the trailer here that you're switching between you and Miles. I don't know if it'll be like a GTA 5 thing where you're just switching between them at whim. I sort of assume not. Um, but
Hopefully, there's not a stealth segment randomly crammed in
oh
there.
god, yeah. I mean, it's
Hey,
almost
Mary Jane must get her screen time.
that's
Well,
right.
Miles
That's right.
did one too. It was both
Yeah.
Mary
Uh-huh.
Jane and Miles.
Well, that was before Miles got his powers.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Hopefully, they don't shove one in there.
Yeah. So I
Plays
don't know.
Aunt May or something. I don't know.
This will be cool. I mean,
Mm, mm,
yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
I think it's
mm.
Insomniac have always made really great games. Those two other games were really great. I expect this one to be really
Yes.
great too.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that they do something different with the symbiote stuff. Like that's my only real thing is I hope they tell a different story with that. If they do, then I think that could be really cool. And that's coming out this fall, which is actually way sooner than I thought. I think I got this confused with the Wolverine game where they were like, release date. Don't worry about it. Don't worry
Yeah.
your pretty head about a release date. It's silly.
Yeah, I don't
Whatever.
think they've done anything besides say that they're working on it.
No, there was like a CG teaser.
Like what,
that was
2
really
years
it.
ago?
Yep.
A year ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and that was a showcase. We got a whole bunch of stuff. I thought it was pretty good. I think they showed off a ton of stuff, and there was a good variety of it. I agree. I wish that there were kind of maybe a couple fewer CG trailers, especially like Concord, where it's like, yes, but what are you? Like, what am I looking at here? I kind of wish there was maybe a little bit less of that, but kind of the, kind of not the worst thing ever. So I thought it was pretty good. Pretty happy with it overall. I also really appreciated Xbox coming out like maybe 30 minutes after the showcase
Immediately.
was done and saying like, here are all the games also coming to Xbox. It's like perfect. There was no shade on it. It's just, yo, good job, Sony. That was a great show.
Just FYI.
These are also coming to Xbox. And like perfect, because I don't have to wait for every publisher to put out the press release where it
Their
says
own
like
thing.
also coming out to Switch and PC and Xbox. Like just tell me what else is coming out. So
See,
I
I'm curious
appreciate
if they can also get away with that because they're saying it, not the public, not the
Right.
the devs.
yeah,
So
because
they know it's
platform
going to
holder.
come out. And
Right.
maybe the dev might be like, well, I can't tell you what's happening because of marketing money or whatever.
Right.
But Xbox can just go, here is a JPEG with 12 boxes on
Yep.
it. These are all coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
Which I like that approach to the announcements. These are leaving Game Pass. These are coming to Game Pass. Here's the new releases. These are also on Xbox. Give me a JPEG with boxes on, and I'm happy.
It's all you need. Yep. That was great. All right, we do have a question, but we're going to save it because we're running super long and we've already recorded a bajillion episodes the last 2 days anyway. So we're going to save them. We're going to save
Hey,
favorites.
I'm scheduled to have my legally obligated lunch break based on how many hours I've
That's
been
right.
working today.
That's right. We'll be wrapping up here in just 10. So Faywar sent a question. We'll save it here for next week. If it's more timely than that, Faywar, hit us up in the chat, the podcast questions channel in the Discord. You can get that over there, and we'll help you out. The link to that and everything else is on the right-hand side of tvgp.tv. That's where you can find and follow us all there, including a link to the Discord server, of course, and our YouTube and the RSS feed there and all that stuff. You put that in your favorite podcatcher. And check us out at patreon.com/E1M1.
Those ones are numbers.
Talked about all the good stuff you can get at the beginning. Your financial support helps a ton, makes it so we don't have to worry about any of the hosting for the show, and I greatly appreciate it. If you can't support us financially, totally understand. Tell a friend, share on social media, rate on your podcast platform of choice if you can do so. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Remember, we're not going to be doing live streams over the next couple weeks when I'm out on vacation, but we will have video versions of that up on the YouTube channel. If you want to see our beautiful faces over there, you can do so. I think that's it for this episode. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 All right. Let's do titles. Nimp, what do you have?
I have applying Lego Star Wars logic. Everything hits like 5 trucks.
Do we stop there? Is it Lego Star Wars logic?
I mean, that's the one I voted for too, but I want to hear the other ones because they're usually really good.
Super Mega Sucker Deluxe Edition.
That's me.
Went hardcore with the parkour.
That's number 2.
That would have won any other week. That would have been number 1 with a bullet. Oh, man. Moon, what do you have?
Annoyed with myself. Size matters not. The title. The shell you fill, and quitting after a year.
I hate Moral Snap, and of course the winner for this week, applying Lego Star Wars logic.
I say we take off applying Lego Star Wars logic.
That's how I had it written originally, and that was what I was going to bring up. Okay. Cross. I like it. There's like probably 4,000 references you can make.
Yeah.
Which one is the right one?
I got some that are really dark that I don't feel appropriate saying out loud.
Especially about a Lego Star Wars game.
Yeah. Or Star Wars in general, or the genocide of children.
Goodness. There's too much Star Wars knowledge in your head. I'll answer Lloyd Beats' question in chat. Play Anybody Saves the World. Had anybody played Nobody Saves the World? I think I played it for a little bit, and I think we have it maybe on our game club list.
Either game club or roguelike.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
Okay. It's a tricky one.
It is. I'm trying to go appropriate, but not ridiculous. How deep do the cuts go is the question.
How dark do the cuts go?
How deep and dark. Just the way I like it.
See, you're already doing it. Now I just want to finish that Lego Star Wars game.
It's so good, dude. You totally should.
I know. I finished it, but I didn't go through 100% of it. I only played 70 hours, so I got about 25% of the way through.
Yeah.
I got so much Star Wars content in my head, I literally don't know what to pull from.
This is a struggle.
Okay.
What?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be bad, but I'm good. Not bad dark, just bad.
Oh, even better. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 814 from May 29th, 2023. Lego Star Wars Logic.
Reference, don't quote directly.
Just because you broke it doesn't mean you can build something else.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.